My story starts out like a lot of people from around here living in the Bible Belt. I was raised in a church. I was taught the love of God at a young age, and I was taught the ritual of church. I was taught um, the etiquette of church, and I was taught that you do it Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and Wednesday night. You're active, and you join the youth group, and you do things of that nature. I was taught that learning to play an instrument and being involved in the music ministry was important because it gave me something to do in the church, and being active, or at least having that facade that I was right mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, that one-on-one relationship with God was pure, and that my worship was true. I was taught that was very important. So about the age 18, some things started coming to a head. I realized that I was struggling severely with self-image. I was struggling with some anxiety and some depression. And I had this void. I began to fill it with all the wrong things. So I noticed that if I smoked a little weed, or if I had some alcohol in my system, all that kind of melted, so it seemed. A few years later, I had moved on to hardcore narcotics, and I had dabbled into some of the most ridiculous and dangerous places to pursue those narcotics and those things. And it no longer was just to not feel anymore. It became something physical that I felt I needed to survive, to function. Now, all the while, I have this foundation of church and of God and the relationship. It's down here somewhere. And so I'm kind of fighting that as I go along. I'm fighting the fact that I know where I can find peace. I know where my help comes from. I know all these things, and I know that I should be valuing myself not as what the world tells me I am, but who God says I am. But I had gotten so deep and so far down this rabbit hole, so to speak, that I felt like I couldn't get out. And if I could get out, then why would God want me? So March 30th, 2017, God spoke to me in a way that I'll never forget. He came in like a vicious wave and just wrecked my life. Emotionally, he wrecked me mentally, and he wrecked me spiritually. And I say that not in a bad way, but I say that in the best way possible. He had to break me down so he could rebuild me into something useful. Not necessarily something beautiful, but something useful for his kingdom. Once I began to kind of appreciate myself for who I was and what I could be, only by the help of God, I really began to reconnect with God. I began to reach out to him more. I began to pray. I began to get into my Bible and read scripture. I really, really am loving who God is turning me into. And that's all because I just let go and let God. I let him take the reins of my life. I let him come in and renew my mind and transform me so that I can not only just act differently, but think differently, see the world through his eyes, love the world with his heart. And we can fast forward a few months further. I meet my wife, and she's a lovely young lady who loves me for who I am. All the flaws that I still currently have, and they're numerous. But she brought me into a church who opened their doors to me, who love me and love on me, also knowing who I am and who I've been and who I can be. I was a junkie, and now I'm addicted to Christ and his love. God has taken a great mess that I made and turned it into what I believe is a great message. My name is Collin Eaton, and this is my story.